Bitcoin maximalists are everywhere, but have you ever noticed something strange? There's practically no such thing as an XRP maximalist. Ever wonder why that might be? I've got a few theories. Bitcoin maximalists, those diehard folks who believe Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency that matters, are a unique breed. In their world, no other coins should exist. Everything else, just noise. It's almost funny, but these people are real and they're fundamentally opposed to, wait for it, technological progress. Yep, you heard that right. Bitcoin maximalists are essentially saying no thanks to innovation. The truth is, other blockchains and cryptocurrencies have features and capabilities that Bitcoin simply doesn't. These advancements open up new business models, create conveniences, and enable technology that wouldn't exist otherwise. So why limit yourself? It's a big, innovative world out there. Still, they insist. Just build something on it too, if anything. But honestly, we don't need these other coins. Adding more layers, that means adding more friction, more problems, and more headaches. Look at the Lightning Network. Remember the promises made a decade ago? It was supposed to revolutionize everything, but what did we get? A tangled mess that hasn't gained traction. At this point, what even is it? A cult. That's right. Bitcoin maxis have turned into a full-blown ideologically driven cult. On the other hand, look at the XRP community. You know what you won't find here? XRP maximalists. Why? Because we're rational. Plain and simple. We're here because XRP stands out as an incredible investment opportunity. But if that ever changed, we wouldn't cling to it. We're not married to XRP. If it stopped making sense, I'd say it right here on the channel, no hesitation. Thankfully, that's not the case. XRP is still one of the clearest winners in the entire crypto market, an unparalleled opportunity. It's an interesting debate. When it comes to investing, what strategy actually makes the most sense? Should you put all your eggs in one basket like XRP? Some swear by it, others not so much. While it might not be the go-to approach for most, it's definitely worth discussing. And that's exactly what I want to dive into today. Here's another angle to consider. In past cycles, you might hear people say Bitcoin or XRP gained X% before, so it'll do the same again. Sounds tempting, right? But let me tell you why that logic doesn't always hold up. It's a misconception we need to unpack. People often assume that just because a coin, whether it's XRP, Bitcoin, or any other, has seen astronomical percentage gains in the past, it's somehow guaranteed to happen again. That's why you hear some saying, oh, XRP had this insane ROI before, so we're looking at another 80,000% surge in the next cycle. Let me stop you right there. No, it doesn't work like that. It's not guaranteed, and frankly, it's not happening. Now, let me make one thing clear. I'm one of the biggest XRP fans out there. Seriously, I love it. It's my largest single crypto holding. But here's the thing. I like to keep my feet firmly planted in reality. Maybe that's where I differ from some folks, but I think most of us in this community get it. At least I hope so. That's why I wanted to break this down for you. I even pulled up a percentage increase calculator to show you what's realistic. Here's what I did. I plugged in the figure 0.28. Why 28 cents? That was the lowest price for XRP in this cycle back in June 2022. My point is we need to look at past trends with a clear head, not just assume lightning will strike in the exact same way twice. So how high could XRP really go? Here's the kicker. Many analysts believe it's entirely possible for XRP to hit double digits, at least $10.00 or more. So I crunched the numbers. Starting from its cycle low of $0.28 and climbing to $10.00 would represent a jaw-dropping 3,471% increase. Let that sink in. 471%. That kind of leap is game-changing, life-changing for so many early investors. Now, let's be real. If you're jumping in at $2.00, the climb to $10.00 is still solid at 400%. But it's not quite the same stratosphere. That's why timing matters. Being in early, it's a massive advantage. For me, while XRP is my personal favorite, and I'm not shy about saying it, I firmly believe in diversifying. Sure, I'm bullish on XRP, but my portfolio spans a range of opportunities, just like my stock market strategy, because at the end of the day, smart investing is all about balance. Whether it's crypto or stocks, investing in the stock market, keep it simple. For me, it's all about ETFs, especially those tracking the S&P 500. They offer broad exposure without the headache of analyzing individual companies. Set it, forget it, and let time do its thing. Fast forward a few decades and voila, your retirement fund is ready to roll. Now apply that same logic to crypto. My focus, large cap cryptos. Sure, chasing those tiny random coins might sound exciting, but most of them will tank long before they make you rich. At this stage, sticking with the big players feels like the smart move. Play it cool, keep it simple, and trust the power of the long haul. Big name, large cap stocks may be the steady giants of the market, but let's face it, they're not exactly adrenaline inducing. Why? Because they're already swimming in cash. Doubling their value is like trying to push a boulder uphill. It takes a tidal wave of demand to make it budge. That's why small cap stocks, like those in the Russell 2000 index, are the darlings of thrill seekers. Yes, they're volatile, but the lure of sky high ROI keeps risk kickers coming back for more. Historically, small caps pack a punch with bigger long-term gains. Just don't bring up the Russell 2000's recent track record. Now, let's pivot to crypto. Think of microcap cryptocurrencies like the Wild West of small caps. High risk, high reward, and absolutely no guarantees. Pick the right one and you might just strike digital gold. But here's the catch. The risks are colossal. On the flip side, you have XRP. It's a decade-old veteran, tried and tested through the chaos. The tech works, the code is solid, and while it won't deliver the jaw-dropping spikes of smaller coins, it offers a layer of reliability you'd be hard-pressed to find elsewhere. So what's your risk tolerance? Steady or spicy? Oh yeah, this isn't just another, overhyped project. It's the real deal. We're talking genuine utility, the kind that gives it longevity most coins can only dream of. Sure, you might luck out with a tiny micro cap if you throw in just the right amount of cash, props to you. But let's talk strategy. Smart investing lives in the sweet spot. And for me, that's always been XRP. I've gone big on it, and here's why. It's a proven heavyweight with untapped potential that's hard to ignore. Into what this thing is continuing to do. It's still, even as a large cap, it's barely scratched the surface of where this asset class is headed. Life-changing gains are still on the table, even with a name as big as XRP. The earlier you dive in, the bigger the payoff. It's just math. But trust me, even at today's price, this opportunity is far from gone. Here's the thing about diversification. It's crucial. This thought popped into my head after seeing a post from fellow crypto YouTuber Dusty BC Crypto. He said, I seriously think only holding XRP is enough to make it. Bold take, right? Let's unpack that for a second. He wasn't exactly endorsing the idea, more like throwing it out there for debate. So could holding just XRP really be enough? Well, maybe. It all depends on your goals. Making it looks different for everyone after all. And for the record, this isn't me throwing shade at him. It's just an intriguing conversation worth having. What do you think? I hope this doesn't rub anyone the wrong way. It's just such a fascinating topic to dive into. The answer really depends on your goals and how much you're ready to commit. This idea comes from Frecky, a respected voice in the XRP community. He's been in crypto since 2011, practically the stone age of the industry, and brings serious credibility with his finance background. The guy's been steeped in the financial world for what feels like forever, decades of experience, no exaggeration. So when he speaks, you listen, because he's got the chops and the conviction to back it up. Frecky's all about XRP, but keeps it refreshingly real. His message, simple but powerful. Everyone gets to choose their favorite coin. And yeah, I've got mine. It's XRP. Full disclosure, I'm biased. I didn't start that way. I came in with an open mind, but now let's just say I'm riding the XRP wave all the way. When I first jumped in, I was all in, learning the ropes and loving every second. But even then, I knew better than to put all my eggs in one basket. There was no way I'd throw every dollar I earned into XRP. Nope, not happening. I'm just not the type to take that kind of risk. Why? Because let's be real, I can't predict the future. Betting it all on one coin in the roller coaster crypto market, that's a gamble I wasn't willing to take. There are so many promising projects out there, and diversifying gives you a chance to tap into more opportunities. It's just smart investing. Take Frecky, for example. He's super selective about where he goes big, but he also knows how powerful a diversified portfolio can be. His approach makes sense, and it stuck with me. Here's what he had to say. To get the most out of XRP, you'll need a solid chunk of capital, or if you're working with a tighter budget, consider spreading your investment across HBAR, CRV, and XRP. Diversifying can be a smart play, especially for newcomers. But here's the kicker. If you're dreaming of retiring in this cycle, proceed with caution. Personally, I'm holding all three coins. And let me tell you this, if you're jumping into XRP at its current prices, be ready to double down if you want to see those big returns. For some context, I've been in the game since 2017. with an average buy-in of just 25 cents per XRP. Fast forward to today, and I'm already sitting on a 9x return. The lesson in crypto, timing isn't everything. If you're just starting out, sure, you'll need to hustle harder than someone like me who's been in the game for years. But don't let that stop you. XRP still has massive potential if you're playing the long game. That said, why stop at one? There's a whole world of coins out there shaking things up. For me, the golden rule is simple: diversify. Now, if you're wondering, can XRP alone get me there? Well, for me, absolutely. I got in at 25 cents, so it doesn't need to hit the moon for me to win. But here's the bigger question. What does making it even mean to you? That's where the magic lies. It's a different journey for everyone. It all depends, doesn't it? That's why I always stress the value of keeping a broad perspective in the market. At the same time, let's not forget that past gains don't guarantee future performance. History doesn't always repeat itself. If you want to start the sport, take XRP as an example. Imagine starting this cycle at 28 cents and potentially hitting $10, 0 cents. Many analysts see that as not just possible, but likely, maybe even conservative. Others think it could skyrocket past that. Could they be right? Maybe. Not here to make predictions. Now, think about Bitcoin for a second. We've seen it defy expectations before. But when someone suggests XRP hitting $10, 0 cents this cycle, it's not outlandish. It feels within reach. Could it happen? Absolutely. Let's talk about Bitcoin and what the future might hold. Picture this: an all-time high this cycle of $108,000, 0 cents. Sounds impressive, right? But here's the wild part. If Bitcoin repeated its jaw-dropping 500% surge from past cycles, it had hit an unbelievable $4 million, 0 cents. Yes, $4 million, 0 cents per Bitcoin. But let's be real. Do you honestly see that happening this cycle? Anytime soon? Not a chance. Not this time. Maybe not ever. The reality is Bitcoin's days of insane growth are behind it. The massive gains that made millionaires just aren't on the table anymore. Meanwhile, other assets like XRP don't need nearly as much momentum to deliver mind-blowing returns. The opportunity for exponential growth has shifted. So if you're still betting on Bitcoin to recreate its past magic, it's time to rethink. Sometimes you've got to accept that the spotlight has moved and it's shining somewhere else. All right, let's dial up the madness, shall we? Imagine this. Bitcoin hits $4 million, 0 cents per coin. Its market cap would explode to an eye-popping $84 trillion, 0 cents. Yes, trillion with a T. That's more than the entire US stock market. For perspective, the combined value of every stock worldwide is roughly $124 trillion, 0 cents. Let that marinate for a second. Now, if you're dreaming of another jaw-dropping 500% jump from there, Bitcoin would have to blast off to an insane $150 million, 0 cents per coin. Yeah, not happening. Could inflation be the culprit? Sure. But if a loaf of bread costs $200 million, 0 cents, does it even matter anymore? At that point, the rules of the game are rewritten entirely. So what's the lesson here? Expecting the same mind-blowing gains every cycle is wishful thinking. And that's exactly why XRP is stealing the spotlight right now. It's where the real opportunity is brewing. Let's be real. Bitcoin isn't going to jump from $100, 0 cents K to $4, 0 cents M. And it's definitely not skyrocketing to $150, 0 cents M. That's pure fantasy. But here's the exciting part. In this cycle, many analysts believe gains of 500% are totally within reach. And crypto numbers like that aren't just possible. They're what make this space so electrifying. Here's the deal. For those of us who've been in the game a while, we're likely to cash out at lower price points than the new crowd might dream of. Why? Simple. We've weathered the highs and lows. We've had solid plans in place for years. Back when XRP was chilling around 20 cents, I was already clear about my strategy and exactly where I'd be selling. Nothing's changed. My strategy is the same. My targets are the same. When XRP hits somewhere between $5, 0 cents and $8, 0 cents, I'm planning to sell nearly all, if not every last bit of my holdings. That's been my range from the start, and I'm sticking to the script. I'm thinking I might hold back 5 or 10%. If it pushes past $8, 0 cents, that could be my moon bag. Maybe that's the play. But honestly, I might not even need to. It all comes down to a lot of moving parts, not just what's happening with XRP. That's why I can't say exactly how it'll shake out just yet. It'll depend on where life's at in that moment. But here's the thing. This plan, it's been in the works for years. I I knew what I was aiming for from the start. That's why I went all in on XRP to trace life-changing gains without needing some insane return to make it worth it. Sure, I took a bigger risk up front than most people would. Some would call it bold. Others might say reckless. But for me, it was always about the long game. I believe the risk was worth it. And that belief kept me focused on the bigger picture. I get it. That's a fair perspective. But when I believed in something, I didn't hesitate. I went all in and bought a massive stack of XRP. That was my play, my bold move. Then came the hard part, holding. Through the SEC chaos, the market swings and every curveball, I stuck to my conviction. It just clicked for me, even knowing the risk I was taking up front. The upside, flexibility. I can manage that risk by cashing out early if it starts taking up too much of my net worth. That was the game plan from the start. In the end, I know not everyone will agree with my approach, and honestly, I'm totally okay with that. When the time comes to sell, I know the noise is going to hit me like a tidal wave, shouts, opinions, maybe even some fireworks, but bring it on, I'm ready. As I make my moves, I'll be upfront about when and what percentage of my XRP holdings I'm letting go. The exact amount I own, that's staying locked in the vault. But transparency about my decisions, you've got it. I feel like the storm might hit sooner rather than later. Could be weeks, months, or sometime next year. Who knows? That's why I'm putting this on the table now. And it seems I'm not the only one gearing up for it. Take Crypto Insight UK, another XRP YouTuber. He recently posted a warning that hit way too close to home. I think I'm going to get yelled at. Honestly, same energy, and I'm bracing for impact. I totally get it. I'm like, yes, I hear you, because I know I'm going to deal with the same thing. I haven't even done it yet, but I can already feel the backlash brewing. Every time I even hint at selling at $5, 0 cents, $6, 0 cents, $7, 0 cents, or $8, 0 cents, people act like I've committed a crime. But here's the thing. You've got to look at the bigger picture. Even if XRP doubles from here, who's to say it will? Where it's sitting right now is already life-changing. Beyond that, even if it doubled, it wouldn't really change my life in any significant way, not in the grand scheme of things. But you know what would change? The level of risk I'm taking. That risk shoots through the roof if I hold on. And for what? The slim chance of maybe doubling what I've already got? No thanks. It's already insane. It feels like I've won the lottery and now people want me to gamble it all, hoping for a second jackpot. Seriously? No, I'm not done for cashing out on one lottery win. Stop trying to shame me into chasing another. That's just crazy talk. Here's a lowdown from Crypto Insight UK, a tweet you'll want to bookmark. Sometime in 2025 or 2026, I'm planning to cash in big on my XRP holdings. The timeline could be a few weeks, months, or half a year from now. What's certain is the price will be a lot higher than today. The exact number, that'll depend on a mix of market factors. When the time comes, I'll give you a heads up. But let's be real. I know the trolls will show up. Is this really the top? Why not wait for insert moonshot price? And that's cool. It's all part of the crypto journey. Here's my take. When I sell, it'll be because the returns are jaw-dropping. I'm talking life-changing percentages. So bring on the questions, the trolls, and the chaos. It's all part of the ride. I'll be real with you. I don't answer the same question the exact same way every time, but I'm always happy to share my perspective. When I decide to sell, it's not because I think we've hit the absolute top. It's just the right choice for me in that moment. Sometimes holding on to something that's grown into such a massive piece of my net worth just isn't the smartest move. Do I think there's still room for it to climb? Absolutely. That's always a possibility in this cycle. But trying to nail the perfect top, that's a myth, and I'm not here to chase unicorns. And for those saying, wait, you're selling already? Come on, say it to my face. I've been holding on to this since November. I've earned my shot to call the play. I've been holding on to XRP since November 17th, 2017. Yep, it's been a while. So when I say I'm selling now, someone out there is probably thinking already, but here's the thing. It's all about how you see it. What works for me might not work for you, and that's totally fine. Maybe you're holding out for bigger gains, or maybe you've got a set price in mind, and until you hit it, you're not budging. Honestly, I respect that. We've all got different strategies, goals, and circumstances shaping our decisions. Some people will cash out before me, even at a lower price. Others will wait longer, riding the waves, and hey, more power to them. I even know folks with smaller targets, and you know what? Good for them. This journey isn't one size fits all. It's yours. So Set your goals, trust your gut, and do what feels right for you. I'm not here to rant or call anyone reckless. They're chasing big dreams and making real moves. So when bold claims or tough questions come my way, I might just listen instead of chiming in. Here's the deal. We cash out when it truly changes our lives, but also when the risk of holding on outweighs the reward. That's the golden rule. For me, if XRP hits the $5.00 to $8.00 range, I'm good. Even if it doubled from there, it wouldn't massively change my life beyond what I've already achieved. So why gamble it all for a little more when the life-changing moment has already happened? No thanks. The answer is simple. You take the win when it matters most. My portfolio is a mix of coins, but let's zero in on XRP for now. Trust me, there's way more where that came from. When I cash out profits from XRP, the journey doesn't stop. It shifts gears. That money gets reinvested, maybe into something solid like stocks or real estate. The options are endless and, I'll make it count. I'm not spilling exact profit numbers. What's the fun in that? The truth is, it all depends on how the chips fall, but here's the deal. Selling my XRP doesn't mean its job is done. Far from it. Those profits pave the way for new opportunities, keeping the momentum alive. That's the strategy. And don't worry, you won't catch me blowing it all on something absurd like a room full of hats. Oh, and here's a fun challenge. Can you name the Mew Bear I'm referencing? No Googling, but hey, feel free to ask around. I'll allow it. Here's the deal, he says. No way I'm selling my whole bag. I'll always want it to go higher. Consider that your teaser, folks. And honestly, can't argue with that logic. As for me, I'm pretty sure the stash of XRP I've got right now is the biggest I'll ever own. My strategy, sell on the way up. The price will crash again. It always does, right? It's just the rhythm of the game. Then I'll dive back in, dollar cost averaging like a pro, writing out the break evens and occasional losses. Been there, done that. Sure, I'll probably end up with less XRP than I've managed to hold over the last 7 years, but you know what? I'll play the cycle all over again. And next time, it's going to be worth a whole lot more. Just wait. I'm ready to dive in all over again. Even if I never hold this much XRP in my portfolio again, I'll keep buying. Why? Because it just clicks. Spreading investments across the market clicks too. It's like casting a wider net to catch every wave. Is XRP all you need? Maybe. Sure, you could strike gold by going all in, but why not hedge your bets and give yourself more chances to win? That's how I see it, and I'm sticking to it firmly, passionately. Let's get real for a moment. My average buy-in for XRP, just 25 cents. Now imagine it soaring to $8, 0 cents. That's a jaw-dropping 3,100% return. Even if I sell someone at $6, 0 cents, or $7, 0 cents, the growth is still mind-blowing. For me, this investment isn't just big, it's monumental, but it's more than numbers. It's about the adventure and the possibilities waiting on the horizon. Just like that, I'm looking at a 3D3. 1,100% surge. Crazy, right? But hey, this is the high-stakes ride I've been on for nearly a decade. Nothing about it has ever been promised. And here's the reality, it still isn't. I'm optimistic we're inching closer to price discovery, but the finish line isn't in sight just yet. Sure, hitting a new all-time high is thrilling, and the XRP ecosystem has never looked stronger, no doubt about that. But the real fireworks, still to come. So yeah, I'm all in, fully committed, no exit strategy in sight. I know so many of you out there are in the same boat, but let me just throw this out there. A 3,100% return isn't enough for you? Really? Come on. And here's the wild part. That's just one coin. My portfolio loaded with a lineup of cryptos, each with its own game-changing potential. If everything lines up, I'd love to sell most, maybe even all of it. Seriously, if the timing's right, I wouldn't hesitate. Cashing out this cycle sounds like a dream. Then I'd just kick back, wait for the inevitable market crash, because let's face it, it always happens, and dive right back in when the dust settles. Rinse and repeat. But don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. This YouTube channel here, I'll keep trading, sharing insights, and riding these wild market waves. Honestly, it's way too thrilling to stop. The opportunities never end, and the rush of doing this over and over, absolutely unmatched. You better believe I'll be back for more. Is this space? Absolute madness, and I live for it. Also, let's be real. None of you are hardcore XRP maximalists. There's maybe one person on Earth who claims that title. And weirdly enough, they might be onto something. The key here is staying forward thinking, always chasing the next technological leap. That's where the magic lies. That's where the future is made. Investing isn't about putting all your eggs in one basket. Diversification is the golden rule. Spreading your investments across different markets just makes sense. End of story, which is why Bitcoin maximalists always make me roll my eyes. Let's be real. They're the party crashers of the crypto world, the coffee stains on what could have been a spotless crypto table. These folks, they're a tough crowd, stuck in their own bubble, sipping their Bitcoin flavored Kool-Aid like it's the only drink in town. No thanks. I'll pass. The arrogance through the roof. The condescension, unbearable. It's like they're on a mission to lecture anyone who dares to think beyond their precious Bitcoin. Hard pass for me. I'm over their narrow-minded takes and outdated gospel. Spare me the lectures, the smug superiority, and the endless echo chamber. I've got better plays to make. So I'll keep doing my thing. My portfolio's set to thrive this cycle, while their one-track obsession keeps them stuck. Enjoy the echo chamber, maximalists. I've moved on. If you could only pick one coin, just one, what would it be? Let me stop you right there. Don't go all in on Bitcoin. And nope, XRP isn't the magic answer either. Look, it's just my opinion. Do what makes you happy. But I'm keeping it real. Now, if it's between Bitcoin and XRP, would I pick Bitcoin? Hard pass. Nope, not happening. But hey, this is the internet. So go ahead, flood the comments and tell me how wrong I am. Call me crazy, explain why I am cruelest. It's cool. Just know you're the one who's off base. All right, let's get this debate fired up. Okay, I'm hopping off my soapbox for now. Gotta love these debates, right? Especially now. It couldn't be a better time to stir the pot. Crypto Insight UK shared a post recently and it stopped me in my tracks. The timing? No coincidence. Right now feels like we're standing on the edge of something massive. True price discovery for XRP, something we haven't witnessed in over 7 years. That's why I'm making this video. The moment feels right, and I wanted to get this out before the wheels really start turning. This is our chance to pause, dig deeper, and explore what's happening, because once it takes off, there's no rewinding to reflect and think, what if? But hey, let me be clear, I'm not a financial advisor. Don't make decisions based solely on what I say here. That's a fast track to regret. Always do your own homework.